Welcome into 101 with Greg Walker. I am your host, Steve Buttram. For the past, if you've not seen the past 2 weeks, you need to see it because we've sat down with Greg Walker himself and talked about young kid Greg, teenage Greg, college Greg, Coach Greg. We've covered it all. Today, we will talk about what everybody knows Greg Walker for. If you've ever been in this area, if you've ever watched Mike and Mike on ESPN, you know him as voice of the Governors and that amazing career he had. So we're going to talk about that. You don't want to miss any more of these stories, folks. We'll be back right after this.
We're celebrating 45 years of serving you at Matthews Nissan, Clarksville's #1 import dealer.
We're saying thank you with $6,300 off a new Altima, $4,700 off a new Rogue.
New Versa, $10,655, $11,000 off a new Titan XD.
With 800 new and used in stock, you're sure to find the car you want at the price you want.
Auto credit challenged, we can help.
You're gonna love our prices, Matthews Nissan.
Life is good. Through the years, you've worked, played, and vowed to protect each other. Because you love her, you make sure you have made your final arrangements. Pre-planning protects your loved ones from the burden of making those decisions during a time of loss. At Neil Tarpley Parchman Funeral Home, services are professional, personal, dignified, and affordable.
Neil Tarpley Parchman, people who care, a name you can trust.
Welcome back. I get another opportunity. If you've not seen the past 2 weeks, again, go back. It's on YouTube. You can watch it. Greg, an honor and a privilege. I know I've said that every show, but to just hear the stories.
And privilege to have you.
Thank you so much. And so
it's also on my timeline on Facebook.
That's right. That's right. Go like
Greg N. Walker.
Greg N. Walker. What's the N stand for?
Norman. They named the golfer Greg Norman after him.
Well, it's worked out pretty well for him as well as.
A little better for him than me, wouldn't you say?
I can say I bought a Greg Norman shirt. I've never bought a Greg Walker shirt.
I got you, buddy.
So we're going to talk about what everybody probably knows you best for, and that is your broadcasting career. 30 years of this show. 30 years. Right. And you know, this is our third show we've done talking together. And we still can't get it all in. I mean, you're talking about 30 years of memories, 30 years of I call you the icon here in Clarksville. And I know you don't like it. That's why I'm going to continue to do it. But 30 years of getting those shows. But 30 years ago, you started 101, June 1st, 1988, and you didn't want to do it.
No, I didn't. But when my son was born, as we said, met with Bill Harpel and John Mosley, and the rest is history. 13-week contract. I had sports talk then that I started August 1, 1980. But 101 came after the birth of my son. Yeah. Needed more money.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I want to talk about sports talk. It's 38 years old this year. Sports talk has got to be. You said before that you're a radio guy because radio is real.
Yeah, it is real.
Which one's your favorite, sports talk or 101? It's kind of like picking between kids, isn't it?
Well, I mean, I love talking sports and all. Yeah. I love it. I used to love it more than probably I do now, but I love it.
Yeah.
But I enjoy getting to know people.
Right.
All walks of life. I've really enjoyed this show. As I said, of course, sports talk could have been a history. I've got tapes from back to who knows what, but we don't know what to do with them. We're going to get rid of all them. I wish we'd have had all the one-on-ones chronicled. If we'd have had it like today, we would have had.
Yeah.
But it's not. They got lost by somewhere down the line, one of the, I don't know, Charter, Syncom, somebody's on up the road. I like them both, but I guess it just depends. This is... I've got to where I can do this and be down to earth. I thought it was plastic, phony. Mm-hmm. You know, I see all these fake smiles and all. I can't stand it. I don't want a fake smile.
Yeah.
I don't want a fake laugh either. Right. And I love to laugh.
Yeah, we've had several of those here.
That's one of my favorite things to do in life. People around me that, good friends, and we can laugh.
Yeah.
Nothing better.
So 38 years ago, you start Sports Talk.
Yep.
Tell me how that started.
I'll tell you exactly how it started. I was big into slow pitch softball at that time, among other things, but I was. I'd been president of the Clarksville Softball League, Old Industrial League. I was commissioner for USSSA and here in town. And WKVL came to town and they just started this radio station. It only been on the air a month or two, maybe a month. They started doing the slow pitch softball game of the week. Bill Herndon would do it. Bill had been in radio and with JZM and with several others, and that was his line of work at the time. And he was a broadcaster. And so, anyway, one night before the game, Bill said, Greg, because he interviewed me at Austin Peay before this, I wasn't in it just before, and won't you do the color on the game for me with me tonight? I said, all right, we'll give it a try. We did. People liked it. Bill looked at me when it was over, and I never will forget, he looked at me and said, you're a natural.
Wow.
And that's what he said. He said, you're a natural. And that got me thinking, well, maybe I did all right. Yeah. And it seemed that I did. And then we did the next game together. And, and I got to thinking, I was out by the swimming pool one day, living over at Cambridge Apartments, single man. Oh, did we have fun there, man. Cambridge doesn't need to talk, I'll tell you that. Mercy. But Mickey Fisher, he's deceased. We were talking about a lot of deceased friends I had. He was one of my best, played ball for me on that travel team. One of the great all-around athletes that I've ever had the opportunity to be around and touch. And I think we touched each other. Died at 55. Never smoked a cigarette or had a drink in his life. Pure as virgin snow. Married to Mary Hobson Fisher, obviously. But anyway, we were by the pool, and I said, Mickey, I got an idea. I said, I'm thinking about starting. I said, Pete Franklin, you know Pete up in, I said, he's got a sports talk show up there. I said, he covers states, you know, he's big time. But I said, I think I could do that here in Clarksville, Montgomery County on a smaller scale and get people to call in, and we could talk about all kind of different sports around the area and nationally. He said, that's a good idea. And he said, I'm going to tell you what your intro needs to be. I said, what's that? He said, this is it. Well, we've used this is it as an intro ever since then.
Wow.
I went in, Barry Williams was the general manager at that time. Bill was the sales manager. And I said, Bill, I want to talk to Barry Williams. I did. Told him I wanted to buy time. And he said, buy time? I said, yeah, I want an hour each Thursday, each week. And he priced me the time, and it's about double what it should have been, thinking I wasn't going to last long as Gene Frost.
Yeah.
And anyway, I started with that hour, and man, things were going so good that Barry came in and he said, look, at the same price, you don't have to pay us any more. We'll give you Monday also, because this is a new station now.
Right, looking for programming,
Monday,
content.
yeah, also, and we'll move you to an hour and a half on each show. I said, okay. We did. Rest is history.
That's amazing.
Charlie Malone comes over from JZM 2 years later, said, I'll give you more, I'll give you this. Also let you do Austin Peay color.
Yeah.
And give you this sponsorship. It was a beer sponsorship. It was Budweiser, it's Charles Hand. If you'll come over here. I had to go.
Yeah.
And I did. And I, of course, gave him the notice, the whole deal. But at that time, there's so much change over there, it didn't matter. And
that's amazing.
JZM ever since 83, been with JZM, I guess, 82, 83, right there.
So 30 years of one-on-one, 38 years of sports talk. So I want to touch on something before we go to commercial break that on a more serious note. Obviously, if you've watched this, you're watching this, and you've watched the other two shows, you can see that Greg is in a wheelchair. Greg, do you want to tell a little bit about what you're struggling?
It's French. It's called Guillain-Barré disease. Now, let me tell you something. We get French vanilla ice cream. I love it. We get French toast. Love it. We get French fries.
Big fan.
Love them.
Yes.
French kissing. Always loved that. And I get the only thing from France. You know, Guillain-Barré is French. It's definitely that. And believe it or not, I got this syndrome, disease, whatever you want to call it, from a flu shot. And I was told that by my neurologist. But to make a long story short, it's rare. Don't be afraid. Hey, I'm not taking no. It's like, I don't know, you probably 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 out of 1,000, I don't know. Only lottery I've ever won and didn't want it. But it deteriorates your muscles and your nerves, and it's on my legs, and I've gone from a cane to a walker to being bedridden other than a wheelchair, but I have to have somebody to help lift me out of bed to get on my legs. I took 12 steps one day and 18 steps yesterday, and let me tell you, taking steps with a walker, of course, with physical therapists behind you here, I was just proud to do it. It's from the neck up, I'm fine, and I'm blessed every day. Do I feel sorry for myself? No, I do not. The Lord has a plan for us all, and I'm just praying, and I hope you're aiming. His plan is for me to come back, because I still hope I have a lot of good to give. I've got good friends that are helping me, that I spoke of some of them just last show. And without them, I'd be nothing. Without my wife, Pat, I'd be nothing. I do have an appointment at Vanderbilt later this month as we tape this show, or whenever this show airs. It may be very soon. It doesn't mean, or it may be later and not at all. You know, I may have already had the appointment, but I'm hoping that we can get more done. You know, I've got to have, I got to have some help, but it affects some people different than others. Young people get over it and come back. A lot of people get over it and come back.
Yeah.
And I've gone about as deep. I took infusions for 6 months, every 3 weeks. Norris Heggie would take me to get these infusions. His brother Horace, of course, helped me in and out of the van when I had to use it or utilize it if we ever went to a doctor or somewhere.
So how long have you known about this disease?
I took this flu shot in 2015, although it's funny, my neurologist wanted all my records and they got me taking the flu shot in 10, but I took it in 15. I know it is because I don't take flu shots. And but we decided it was going to be probably, I was coming to the end of my career at Austin P, and I was older and thought I might get sick out going on the road. And so took the flu shot. And I noticed that year I got weaker as the year went on during basketball. Nothing but just carrying my bags, traveling got harder. And at the end of the year, things were tough. I couldn't do the things I used to do, and it got progressively worse. And went to a neurologist, and I got neuropathy, and I've had a pacemaker put in since then. Of course, I had open heart in 08, stent in 98, all that kind of stuff. But I've got along great. But I went from a cane to a walker to where I am now. and just trying to fight back. That's what it amounts to, and I hope I can.
And the great thing is, you know, for 3 years you've suffered with this, and for 3 years you've barely missed an episode of one-on-one.
Well, you know, thank the Lord we do one-on-one in my home.
Yeah.
My sports talk show is done at the station, and we've had to rejoin it a little bit, and it's a little different now, and we'll say more about it. I mean, Justin Swallows is doing that show.
Good young man.
And of course, Mike Parchman and I are partners of JZM, but when this show airs, that may all be settled and Mike may own it all.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I still want to be and going to be a part of one of sports talk some kind of way, I hope.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we will talk about some of the broadcasting career highlights as promised. I know everybody that's watched these shows wanted to know why, but I'm going to tell you, having spent this much time with him taping these 3 shows, he's sharp as a tack. Sharp as a tack. He may not be running in the yard, but he's still smarter than the average bear. You guys stick around. We got clips of Greg Walker dancing when we come back.
Oh, mercy.
Welcome back to 101 with Greg Walker. I'm Steve Buttram, and as you can see, Greg does know how to dance, sort of. We had that's clips of actual Greg Walker performing at the Dunn with the dance team. Greg made a lot of significant contributions to Austin Peay. That not one of them. Sorry, Greg. That's you and I neither one a dancer, but you were the voice of the Govs for many, many years. When did that start? When did you start doing that?
You know, actually, I started in 82, 83, not as voice of the Govs, but with Bill Herndon doing the color. Mm-hmm. And Bill did the play-by-play, and then I had a break right in there from started right at the late 80s and the 90s, and then I got back with Bill, thanks to Bill, and actually a woman that has died, but that a lot of people didn't care for, but I thought a lot of her. She is AD at Austin Peay. Kay Hart. She agreed to bring me back with Bill, and so I did that. And then Bill had to have open heart surgery, and Bill was getting toward the end of what he wanted to be his broadcast career.
Right.
He got out. Dave Luce went along with me continuing on, but Dave said, "Hey, you're going to have to do the play-by-play." I said, fine, let's go for it. And
that was in
96, 7, 8, right in there. I forget how all that folds out.
So as that job, as the voice, you became the voice of the Governors. You won an award from the OVC. But one of the coolest things, I think,
I worked with the Govs Network longer than Earl Walton, longer than anyone else.
20.
Yes, I was with the network 24 years plus. That's longer than anyone's ever done.
That's amazing. My favorite thing is what we're going to talk about right now. As voice of the Govs, I'll let you set up the call that we're about to play that gets featured on Mike and Mike on ESPN. You make a call at the Austin Peay men's game. Tell us a little bit of the background.
Well, you get a call on ESPN for that they would air every year several times. And always on the Mike and Mike show, they would do it over and over. A lot of times, several different days.
Yeah.
Of a loss. Not a great dunk, not a 3-point shot to win it, but probably the toughest loss we as a collective group ever suffered at Austin Peay in the OVC finals against EIU. Kent Dummercant, Ward Out, and company, and it's a long story. No need to, but they beat us. They beat us right at the buzzer, basically, and just tore us all to pieces.
Here, take a listen to it as it was featured on Mike and Mike on ESPN.
We didn't do it full justice. Here's a slightly longer version. Again, you can't shortchange Greg Walker.
Rebound, Thompson batted away by Amos. No! He called that a goaltend. Surely not. It was on the way up. How could he call that goaltending on the way up? My gosh, no. He called it goaltending. Goaltending, he called it. On a great defensive effort by the Gulls. Jake White, long pass. It's over, and EIU has ripped the hearts out of the Governors, their fans, their broadcasters, and everyone.
See, now that's the classic. You can't lose the goaltending, he called it. Surely not, he was on the way up. I mean, I happened to hear that. He did that call. He just made that call, and then I was driving into work on a Monday morning, and I heard that, and I said, that's the greatest thing I've ever heard. And we called Greg, and we had him on, and he wound up doing a bunch of production for us over the years. A guy, I love Greg Walker like I love my own family.
You can see the imagery of him taking the headset off and just collapsing face first at the press table.
So, since then, you've actually spoken to Mike Greenberg. He's become a Greg Walker fan.
Well, he's a good man.
Yeah.
He's a very good man, as a matter of fact. I hated to see their show.
I did too. I did as well.
Dissolve. I think they were really good together, Mike and Mike. But Greenberg, they've had me do it. I did a few commercials, promos, different things for them.
And that call was also featured on CBS's intro for March Madness.
One year it was. It was in a collage of different things, but it was.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And I know there's so many 20-plus years, almost 24 years of being the voice of the Governors, being the Governors Radio Network. But that to me is the most famous Greg Walker moment, other than the phone call to me, that I enjoyed the most. And I really wanted to talk about that and spend some time with that.
Well, I appreciate you.
Because it is absolutely legendary.
I've had a lot of people tell me they've heard it. It's no doubt. I know one thing. Austin Peay couldn't buy the time it's given them.
No. I did not know who the Governors were until I knew that clip.
Really?
That's where I learned who it was. So we're going to take a quick break, come back and wrap up our conversation, and get the best advice that Greg's ever gotten, and let him give some too. You guys stick around. We'll be right back.
We're celebrating 45 years of serving you at Matthews Nissan, Clarksville's #1 import dealer.
We're saying thank you with $6,300 off a new Altima, $4,700 off a new Rogue.
New Versa, $10,655, $11,000 off a new Titan XD.
With 800 new and used in stock, you're sure to find the car you want at the price you want.
Auto Credit Challenged, we can help.
You're gonna love our prices, Matthews Nissan.
Welcome back to 101, our final segment as we wrap up. We've actually run over time. Producers and directors yelled at us because we've talked so much. But how do you take 70 years of an amazing career in life and put it into 3 30-minute shows? You can't. So
we want to thank Dan Calderon for 30. Well, he hasn't been all 30, but he's been a good part of it. WCKV-TV.
Dan's been a consistent one of always making sure this show was on the air. Thank you, Dan. Thank you for the folks at WCKV.
Yeah, he does a great job.
So you know about the best advice. If you've ever watched this show, you know that when he finishes talking to a guest, Greg always asks, "What's the best advice you've ever gotten?" That's going to be on Greg's YouTube channel and on his Facebook page, so you'll have to tune in for bonus for that. To finish the show, we're going to rapid fire. Now, Greg says I can't do anything fast, but we're going to try.
My best advice takes about 3 or 4 minutes.
Yeah, you don't want to miss that. Kidding. So go to his YouTube page and to your personal Facebook page as well, Greg N. Walker.
It's worth listening to, if I do say so myself.
Absolutely. Okay, here we go. Rapid fire. Favorite teams, Major League Baseball.
Oh, without question, the Braves. Since 1957, Milwaukee Braves.
The Milwaukee Braves. Favorite NBA team?
Favorite NBA team, Well, right now it's Golden State.
Favorite National Hockey League team?
Oh, it's the Preds. I've become a Pred fan. I've gotten into hockey late in life, and the Preds are the reason. I have to admit it.
There's a lot of people that's out there in hockey because of the Preds.
Hey, I've got into the game. I'm for the Capitals against Vegas.
Absolutely. And last but not least, I know you have two favorite college teams. One of them, of course, Go Govs, Austin Peay State University, and your other one?
Vanderbilt.
All right, go Doors.
Got to be, man. Got to be. A great school, great institution.
And one of the neatest basketball courts ever, really.
I think so. Some people call it junk.
I love it. I think it's awesome.
It's one of the great calling games there. I'm gonna tell you, cold chills to me, man.
Oh man,
calling the game at Memorial. Woo.
Yeah.
Special feeling. Calling games at a lot of places, all around the OVC.
You've been to every OVC school, even teams that's not even in the OVC anymore.
Without question.
That's amazing.
And look, hey, I've never had a crossword or an enemy at any OVC school. I've made friends at them all. Hopefully I've represented Austin Peay over the years well with them.
No question in my mind.
I hope I have. I think I have. And matter of fact, I've got as much respect or more from some of the OVC schools as I have Austin Peay. I think that much of them, and they have thought that much of me back when I was doing the ball games.
Having worked with Murray State a while myself, you are certainly loved and appreciated there by Dave Winder and the gang. And that's how I got to know who you are. 101 has been awesome. These 3 shows we've done together has been amazing. I know Sawyer's got a lot of work to do all the time.
Oh, he does.
2 broadcasting guys just sitting there shooting the breeze.
I mean, hey, look, I just appreciate you putting up with me for 30-plus years, 38 on the radio. I thank all of those that believed in me and sponsored me over the years. And I've never had a better producer than Steve Sawyer. This man's done
Thank you.
Who could sit there and, of course, get me to talking and I can't stop.
Oh, it's the easiest interview I've ever done.
I've never sat on this side of the table, but it was interesting. I hope y'all enjoyed it.
Don't forget, check out Greg Walker's YouTube for his best advice he's ever gotten, the best advice he'll ever give. It's going to be well worth your time, and it'll also be on his personal Facebook page. Now, before we go, this is your show. This is your 101. You close us out.
Well, folks, the easy way to do it is just tell you this. Live for today. Let's love. Let's live. Let's laugh. Let's be friendly. It's just as easy to be friendly as it is to be an old ragamuffin or whatever you want to call it. Let's try to get along with everyone and let's try to help each other. And if we do that, we'll all be blessed. We'll all be better for it. Appreciate all of you for viewing. Tell your friends, neighbors, and loved ones about the show. Y'all have a very nice rest of the day, folks.